Speak back, give yourself a compliment, back yourself up, be your own best coach.
Hello and welcome to Meet the Coach. I'm your host, Carla Egan, and today our theme for our conversation is how to stand out from your competition. Our guest coach is Jen Trevorrow from Be the Confident You. Now, Jen T, as she's most commonly known, works in the corporate media, communication and presentation skills space. Her focus is really on helping professionals to stand out from their competition using video. Jen is based in regional Victoria in Australia and joins me today. Hi Jen, welcome and thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me here. It's great to be a part of the coaching directory.
Well, our theme today is centered around that it's, you want to stand out for your competition and how to speak confidently on video. And of course, this is a wonderful theme because we're doing this interview on video. Now, before we jump into our topic, could I ask you to share in your own words your journey into this wonderful visual world of video and running your own business?
I'd love to share a little bit about how I got to where I am, because a lot of people don't realize how much I lacked in confidence for a very, very, very long time. I was a hairdresser and makeup artist, started in a salon when I was 14, and I started working on photography and film shoots. And one thing that I noticed was the way people walked in definitely affected the outcome that they got. And so often, especially women, would walk in and go, I hate having my photo taken. I hate being in front of the camera. And it was my job. I felt that it was my role as being their hairdresser and makeup artist to switch them around and to start thinking about who these photos, who these videos could actually help. Because whenever we're presenting ourselves, and if you've been in a training room of mine, you'll hear me say quite often, when we're on video, it's not about us, it's about the people that we can help. But back then, I really had a huge fear of public speaking. I remember it was 7 years ago, I was asked to speak on stage and do a presentation for a group of women on just some simple makeup tips to make them feel more confident when they were getting ready to go to an event. And when I was sitting there, I had my mother-in-law, my two sister-in-laws, and my mother-in-law's best friend in the audience. And I looked up and I could see this. I could see that they were laughing, and I immediately thought that they were laughing at me and I was making a fool out of myself. And before I would go and ever do a video, which I really avoided at all costs, but before I would go and put myself out there, I would turn into quite an angry person. And you know me, Carla, I'm usually quite positive and bubbly, but I would just consume me with all of this fear of, what if I make a mistake? What if people judge me? What if I'm not good enough? And another thing that came out was, what if people reject me? And they're the four most common fears that people have when it comes to putting themselves out there. So I knew that I needed to do something about it, and I had an opportunity to be able to, that I needed to be able to present myself more and more and more, but I didn't like the person I became before I presented. And so I went to a public speaking training, and that day literally changed my life. I walked in with so much nervousness in my body. I didn't want to be there really, but I knew it was good for me. And some of the key things that I took away from that was my internal dialogue, the way I communicated with myself, and also that I was wearing this mask pretending that I was really confident, but I really wasn't on the inside. So that day I ended up speaking to the coach, and I said to her, what you're doing is so incredible and I want to be a part of it. So within a couple of months, I went from being absolutely petrified of public speaking to being the lead coaching trainer and also the MC for a public speaking coach. And if you think that public speaking is a little bit daunting, public speaking for a public speaking coach is on a whole new level. But I really fell in love with transformation. And I realized that, you know, transformation doesn't have to be difficult and it doesn't have to take a long time. Transformation can happen in an instant. So I was coaching, I did my master NLP, I've done my neuro-linguistic programming, plus my neurodesign engineering, hypnosis, and a lot of other modalities. And I was really working towards helping people really align with their brand. And what I realized was, to make that real impact, people need to have their message heard. And the best way to do that is through video. We are all in a time right now where the most amount of communication that we can do is literally through video. And our audiences, our clients, our potential clients, they are needing certainty. People are really craving it. And the best way to do it is through video. So I remember it was nearly 2 years ago, I sat down and I wrote down, what help do people need? What am I passionate about? And what do I love? And everything came back to video. It was around that time I was on the train on the way back from the aquarium, and this amazing light bulb moment hit me. I was sitting there with my family, and this lady who I could not recognize started introducing me to her kids, her husband, her in-laws, and I ended up saying, "Excuse me, but how do we know each other?" And she goes, "You're the hair and makeup girl. I watch all of your videos on Facebook." And I was like, wow, that is the power of video. It creates that connection with people that people are craving. So that's how I got to where I am. And I absolutely love watching people come into my trainings, whether it's one-on-one coaching, corporate coaching, or group business coaching, and watching them go from having that nervousness show up, and some of them don't even want to be there. It's a real stretch for them to even get onto a Zoom call, to them being able to communicate clearly a really concise message in a way that attracts more of their ideal clients to them.
What a journey. What an amazing journey. And I think there'll be a lot of people that will resonate with that journey, because public speaking is one of those fears. But speaking on video also, it's the same fear. And congratulations and for sharing that, the challenges you've met along the way. You have just presented extremely well, and you're a great case study of what you can achieve when you've got a great coach to help you with that next stage. So, you know, we're in this digital age, Jen, and where, you know, you need to be in the online space. So why is video an important aspect right now for businesses?
There's so many statistics that back this up, and video is the most powerful tool that you can use in your marketing if it is done well. And there's a big difference with that. I have to put that in there. But what happens with, if we listen and see someone speaking, we retain up to 95% of the message. When we read something, we only retain 10%. So from a perspective of having that message truly heard, creating an emotional connection, there is no other way to do it on our social platforms. It's like if you read a book, you put the emotion into the words. The words don't give you the emotion. If you see someone speak, you can feel their emotion. And this is one thing that I often coach people on, is be in that emotional state you want your audience to feel.
Fabulous. Those stats are pretty outstanding. Now, given if you've got all your clients on video and everyone's starting to get this message on video, so if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, get on video if you're not already. What's your message to those that are already on video in this space? How do you cut through? How do you stand out from your competitors? How do you stand out from others in this space?
What we want to do is reduce the amount of noise. Now, when we do our social media scrolls, I'm sure we've all seen it. We don't even pay much attention to it because it seems like there is just so much noise, and we are bombarded with 20,000 marketing messages a day. 20,000. So to be able to stand out, what we need to think of is, what is that problem that I'm going to be solving for somebody else? like I said earlier, our videos aren't about us. They're about the people that we can help. It's all about solving a problem. And we need to be incredibly clear and concise on what that one key message is. So what happens is if we're processing information, it's burning calories. So if we're leaving any thought of confusion in someone's mind, it's actually burning too much calories, and the brain wants to conserve burning calories. So we need to make it clear and concise so that we can keep their attention, and we need to grab them with a really great opening statement. And a great way, I'll give you a couple of tips here because I'm always about adding a bit of value. If you say you in the first 3 seconds of your video, and I'm talking about saying you to your audience, then you will get up to 66% more engagement. If you say you and a variation of you twice in the first 10 seconds, you get up to 98% more engagement because it's automatically making it about our audience instead of ourselves.
I'm just thinking back to my intro now. I think I said I'm your host. So does that count? Now, look, being confident on video is a big step for many, and you highlighted that, really well. And I think a lot of people will resonate with your story. And for those that you do assist in, reaching that level, how do you help them create, content to talk about?
There's a few different techniques that I use both in group coaching and one-on-one coaching that maps everything out in a way that it's concise, clear, takes away the overwhelm, because a lot of people go, okay, I have to do a video, and then they go, wow, I've got to pick a topic, I've got to pick this, I've got to get my structure right. But it's all about simplifying it. So a lot of people don't do videos or are hesitant about doing videos because we make things too complicated. So I'm all about simplifying things. So there is a strategy that I use with clients that is a mind map that has, you'll have 30 to 40 different video content topics that all relate back to your one core message, that one message that you want to be known for. And I have this really strong belief that everybody has a message that deserves to be heard. So it's about simplifying it into a way that gives you strategies to be able to just show up with confidence in ways that is authentic. We hear that word so often, but if you are you are authentic. So it's all about showing your uniqueness. It's all about showing your values and your mission with your potential clients.
Let's talk about nerves for a second. Everyone seems to get nervous before going on video or doing public speaking. What are your top tips for addressing this and, calming people down?
There's so many different techniques and tools that I teach, and it's about finding what works perfectly for you. So some of the things that I do is I always check my self-talk. So if I'm in what's called a downtime state and I'm into my self-talk and I'm saying negative things like don't stuff up, don't say don't do this, you're going to make a fool of yourself, people are going to judge you. If you're saying all of those negative things, then you're not going to show up with that confidence. So it's about if you do hear that little voice pop up, speak back. Give yourself a compliment, back yourself up, be your own best coach. It's all about supporting yourself. Now, another thing that I do is if you feel nervousness, and if you're anything like me, you might start with some butterflies in the stomach, then the heart might start pounding a little bit faster and harder, then you might get a little bit shaky, a little bit of sweaty palms, you might get a bit flushed. But if you get excited, it starts with butterflies in the stomach, then your heart might start beating a little bit faster. Can you see where I'm going here? You might start getting a little bit shaky, a little bit sweaty, a little bit flushed. So it's all about the label that we give the feelings that we have. So if I ever start feeling a little bit nervous, and sometimes nerves can be a good thing, like nervousness can keep us safe in some instances, but it can also keep us in our comfort zone. So it's being able to choose whether we show up with nervousness or not. So if you start getting those butterflies in the stomach, if you start hearing yourself using that word nervousness, hang on a minute. is this really nervousness or am I a bit excited? Because being a little bit excited is going to serve you so much better than being nervous. Next thing is always remembering that it's about the people we can help. And I hear so many people apologize when they're doing videos. Now, they may apologize with their words, saying things like, I'm no expert, but I'm sure we've all heard someone say that. Or, sorry, my hair isn't done, sorry. And like, people literally will say sorry and apologize when they're doing videos. They may also apologize with their physiology, so with their movements, with their body. It could be something like this. And this is a self-comforter, so it might be rubbing your arm, rubbing your hands together. So it's telling yourself that you are okay and that you're safe. But it's also putting an apology, or it's showing your audience that you aren't certain and aren't confident. So the way that we stand can definitely apologize as well. So we want to avoid that and show up with, I have something of value to share. I have different things that I need to be able to get out there. I am the person who needs to do this. People need to hear this. This is going to help other people. So when we're constantly focusing on who it's going to help, you're in an uptime state, and you can't go into that negative self-talk when you're in that uptime state. So there are a lot of other strategies that I use, but I hope that if you are going to be jumping on and doing a video, just focus on the people that it's going to be helping. Ask yourself, is it nervousness or is it a little bit of excitement? And also check your self-talk. And they're 3 amazing tips.
Your skills are really transferable, aren't they? Across different sectors, across multiple industries. So do you have an ideal client, Jen, that you prefer to work with, or that you'd like to attract?
I love working with small business owners. I love working with coaches and consultants that have a really strong message. And being a small business owner myself, I get it. So helping them simplify things and be able to grow their business, I see what I do as having that real ripple effect. So if I can help someone present with confidence and clarity, then they get to help even more people. So it's this real flow-on effect. Also love working with real estate professionals. I love working with agents. I love working with property managers, with buyers advocates. Really have a really big a soft spot for that space. But also I love doing the corporate training. I've been running trainings now for a little while, where a lot of corporations are finding that now that they're doing a lot of their client calls on video, they're not feeling that they're getting the same outcome as if they were face to face. And yeah, there are some differences with being able to read and lead people on platforms like Zoom or any of Teams, any of those video conferencing platforms. So being able to pick up on people's cues on video is a little bit different. So I love being able to do that. And the feedback from that has been, I feel like my communication has gone to a whole new level because I'm more aware of different things now.
I really love that, because I just wrote down, selling on Zoom is very different to selling face-to-face, where you can see a lot more of their body, you can shake hands, you've only really got a very small, sometimes a thumbnail shot. So that's really an interesting approach to video and sales. Now, I just want to switch things up a bit, because you are one busy lady in lockdown. I understand that you're a published author, and that you've taken time to put pen to paper when you're away from your video to be a co-author on a book. And I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. Jen, can you just tell us about the book and your collaboration with it?
Well, absolutely, Carla. It's funny at times in our life when limiting beliefs come up. And I was told when I was a high school student that I would never be able to be a writer. I process information quite differently. I'm not the standard learner, which is another reason why I'm so attracted to video. But I was approached last September, and I was asked, because I've been such an inspirational woman, and to co-write a chapter in a book. And I was just like, who? Me? I can't write. And so I had to let go of that limiting belief to be able to do it. And it was such an incredible experience. We had 13 women from my area, so around Geelong, all wrote a chapter and contributed about what their year was like with COVID. So it was the 13 Wise Women, the COVID year. And we didn't know at that time it was going to be a lot longer than 1 year when we wrote it. But it was such an incredible, and it was cathartic. It was so cathartic because I'm sure I'm like a lot of you watching right now, that you say to yourself that, you know, I haven't achieved what I wanted to achieve. I haven't got that to-do list done, because the to-do list just keeps on growing, keeps on growing. So looking back through my diary and realizing what I had achieved, it was such a cathartic feeling of, you know, I have been able to help well over 150 people present themselves with confidence on video just in like 9 months of last year, which is an incredible thing to be able to sit back and look at. So it's the 13 Wise Women, the COVID year. We've got another one of the coaches from the coaching directory in there as well. So yeah, if you're wanting an uplifting, motivational story, maybe some tears along the way with some of the stories as well, it's a great, easy read.
Congratulations on your achievements and a good use of lockdown time. Now, Jen, you're a founding member of the coaching directory. What does joining the coaching directory mean to you and your business?
Carla, as soon as I heard about the coaching directory, I knew it was something that I wanted to be a part of. Community is so important to me. And one thing that really stood out to me about the coaching directory was it isn't for anybody who calls themselves a coach. You know, there's people that are qualified to get real results, and it's all about what's best for the clients, and it's all about adding value. And because of the coaching directory, you're guaranteed that you're going to get somebody that's going to be able to help solve your problems.
I love that, and you've really captured the philosophy of the directory. So thank you. We're delighted to have you on as our video coach on the directory. So that brings us to the end of this interview. And thank you, Jen T, for joining us on Meet the Coach and for sharing your passion for helping people improve their online communication and presentation skills on video.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'll be in the coaching directory for a very long time.
And as always, thanks to those of you that are following our Meet the Coach series. If you enjoy our series, please rate and review us, and make sure you visit and check out the profile of Jen T from Be the Confident You on the coaching directory. I'm Carla Egan, your host for this series, where we make it easier for you to connect to your ideal coach.